Alex Answer here. It is May 27th, 2016. This morning I'm going to talk about the connection between MGTOW and men going off the grid. My perspective, that is. I think certain people need to hear this perspective. I think they need to open up their minds as to why some people go their own way, be they men or women, period, and retract from mainstream society to save their own sanity. So that's going to be kind of the theme and discussion that we're going to have this morning. And so it's been, let's see, it's been about 13 months since I left Portland, Oregon, which is the city that I was born into. It was there that I came across my early ideas that catapulted the Outside the Box television show, which aired live on Access TV for a number of years. And then, of course, as some of you know, a time came to where my hometown no longer seemed to be my home. And my encounters with the opposite sex took a noticeable change in 2010 and 2011. I saw a rise in nastiness and what one could even call the rise of the dark feminine. And I realize now that I'm not the only one to see this change within society. And of course, there's some women out there that have maybe had their own experiences with men that have gone sour. And to where, we've just seen the uglier side of humanity in some of our relationships and attempted relationships in recent years. So this is something that other people are experiencing. Now, I see people on the internet, a lot of men that are stuck in resentment that don't really seem to want to grasp the larger spiritual interpretation of what's going on to everybody, not just women, everybody. With the exception of some people that are genuinely seeking to have a real individual shift in consciousness. People that are actually working on themselves and not just pointing the finger at other people. That's the minority. That's the extreme minority of the human population. Most people are operating almost like robots, and you're seeing it. You're seeing the evidence in the actual behavior, in the groupthink, the us versus them way of looking at things. The people that are creating more division. So there are some men in the online YouTube MGTOW, MGTOW movement that have talked about their own experiences that don't seem to want to grasp the larger picture. And for me, the larger picture is realizing what's happening to society and it not being about one particular gender. However, there are some obvious ways that we as men may notice specifically how women could be targeted consciously to where they can be turned off by things that are actually good. People that are actually doing good things and actually be turned on by men that commit acts of violence, that commit adultery and other things. Okay, so once one realizes that something's going on within society, to me, the solution-oriented way of reacting is not to stay in anger and resentment and playing the gender resentment game like a lot of people are doing, but actually remove yourself from those unhealthy environments, be you male or female, looking at society as a whole with this regression of consciousness, whether you're looking at the men of the women or the women of the men or other. Of course, there are people that do not identify as men or women now, and they're confused as to what they are. And I think that there's way too much obsession with that. I think there is way too much obsession on the transgender movement and people obsessing on what other gender they might be other than male or female. And I think for this to be promoted in the mainstream, even though I don't think it actually reflects the mainstream consciousness, it is like they are pushing it on to society. This is not a sign of a healthy society and healthy communities and healthy cities, nor is Portland a sign of a healthy city. So it's important that people see the larger picture and align themselves with their own solution. And for a lot of people, that's living closer to nature and away from these cell phone towers and away from these major cities where you have all these human beings transmitting their insanity. I think this is an epoch in time, a period in time where an aspect of the population, a very small minority, they're becoming hyper aware and hypersensitive. And perhaps it's more people than I'm aware of. That's why there's so much, I suppose, so many influences within our society. Just get drunk, just get fucked up, just get stupid, yo. Hold down your consciousness, yo. Yeah, that's cool. That's the way to go. And that's obviously taking place. Those programs are obviously out there. So for me, going specifically back to the relationship discussion, and when I'm in my own space and when I am not staying or parking in these cities, I feel a sense of peace. It's when I'm in the cities, and some people can just tell and look at you that they know you're on the road or you're an off the grid, or maybe you're going to a grocery store with a big container of water, which I do every time. And people just know you're one of them. And we can discuss on a deeper level how this programming took place, is taking place, for people to act like extras in a They Live movie going, I got one that can see, and for them to actually play that out without even realizing it, that they're playing out that robot that is looking down on the human living actually alongside nature. It's important to understand that it is happening to survive that type of persecution emotionally when you come across people in society, when I come across people in society. So as long as society is swimming to this mass way of consciousness, what I am and what I represent, could be lifestyle, my actual blood on my father's side. We've talked about that aspect of discrimination. If someone recognizes someone with Persian air attributes, in today's day and age, some people look at that as in a very negative light. And if you don't know that, you have some intelligence issues. You have some honesty issues. You have some perception issues. If you're currently, cognitively, not aware that there's a widespread hate of Middle Eastern people and assumptions that they're all radical Muslims, if you're not aware that program is out there, you have intelligence and psychological issues that you should work to overcome with either exercises to strengthen your brain or strengthen your memory of things like 9/11, 9/11 blamed on a country like Afghanistan, a country to this day that is still being blamed for attacks that I don't believe the people of Afghanistan are actually responsible for. So we have intelligence issues and empathy issues and common sense issues if you do not realize there's something wrong with millions dead in the Middle East. Like it or not, my father was born in Afghanistan, and so that makes me half Afghan. And so I'm traumatized to be alongside this population that, for the most part, doesn't give a shit about me, what I've overcome, and what I, as a half Afghan, have contributed to America, to American philosophy, to the American alternative media. It's painful. It's a stab in my heart. It's a stab in my heart. And it's only by the grace of God, not any man or woman, but only by the grace of God or something greater than myself, that I have even found the will to live up until this point, and that I have been protected from certain things, certain evils, and that I've been aided with certain financial support at the exact moment that I need it. Everything that I need, not everything that I want. Somehow or another, there's a spiritual force in my life that's keeping checks and balances and is making sure that Alex Ansary is going to be all right. Someone asked in a recent video, by the way, Alex, do you always get propositions in your YouTubes? Only someone who's a new viewer would say that. Absolutely not. And only a fool, and I'm just saying this to anyone, would think that I would fall for someone using an anonymous handle, supposedly propositioning me. There's a lot of weird archonic interest, for whatever reason, in this channel. Obviously, I'm discussing certain things that other people are not. So there's constantly going to be interference and people toying with my emotions, whether they're pretending to be nice or they're being really nasty. Anytime they can distract me in either a positive or negative way, it's going to happen. Anyone genuinely wanting to connect with me, if you will, would go through regular channels of private email. They wouldn't use anonymous handles. And they would be intelligent enough, anybody that I was meant to be with, or anyone that would be positive, a positive experience for me, they would be intelligent enough to realize that I'm not going to fall for certain things, let alone anonymous contacts via a public medium called the YouTube comment section. I mean, folks, I know that brains are turning to butter, but I would hope that some audience members that were genuine would think in an intelligent manner about how Alex Ansary, with all the sabotage he's been through, how I would react to certain things. And I realize I got to really create some additional distance between myself and my audience. I'm accessible, but there's certain common sense things that audience members need to take into consideration. Like, I like emails that are private, people that are real, people that don't come to me with all of their problems and expect me to fix them. Because of my Archon podcast series, it has attracted, folks, a lot of people in search of healing and in search of the answers. And all I can do is give my perspective on what I think is the best direction to point towards the door out of this matrix. And also let you know there are other people with their perspectives, and some of them are valid as well. And I've learned from other people, but ultimately I'm making my own decisions. And this is my content. It is not parroting someone else's content. And through my experiences with nature and living off the grid and living outside of a slave-like experience, or a job that I don't like, or a relationship that I don't like, or a city that I don't like, instead I'm free and I'm on the road. And there are certain people obsessing on this channel that don't want me to be successful, that actually are very upset that I've been successful up until this point, where they were thinking that I would have fallen on my face a year ago or 2 years ago. And there are a number of enraged spirits in human form that are obsessed with this channel. You can see those in the thumbs down. Some people run 10 accounts, 20 accounts. They're going to make sure that they make their stand in the ground energetically and thumb down as many videos as they can, because they're suffering. Who cares if you thumb down the videos? What kind of power is that? What about making your own videos and sharing your own perspectives? And so take that as an example, that there are some very, very challenged audience members of this channel that are seething with hatred, that have lost all heartfelt energy. And that's why they're watching the channel to begin with. They won't admit, maybe not even to themselves, that they actually like this channel and they like this content. And they like hearing the truth. Even if they're angry at hearing the truth, they like someone telling them the truth anyways. So they'll thumb it down, but they'll keep coming back for more. And the numbers of the view counts, which don't lie for the most part. They do hold back the view counts to a certain degree, but the view counts are the view counts, and they are watching for a reason. And whether they act like they hate it or not, notice that they give their attention to this channel. As much as they thumb it down, they give me their view and their attention. And that's what I want. Thumb it down all you want, but you will keep coming back, and you will keep watching, and you will keep learning. You can throw the coffee at your computer monitor and create a new account and troll all you want, but you will keep coming back and back for more and more until you are healed of your psychological impairment. But you have to do the healing for yourself. I don't have all the answers. I am recommending that you look within for your own answers. And you focus on your own individual shift in consciousness. Don't worry about the collective and blaming everybody else for your problems. You are responsible for your own problems, and you're responsible for your own solutions. And I feel the same way about my own life. So this video was supposed to be, initially, about the connection between what I feel is a person that is on the spiritual path, MGTOW-wise, not stuck in gender warfare, and a man who also goes off the grid. And then it really went beyond that. But to kind of recenter it on where we started, one of the reasons why a lot of my videos have not been about women and telling my life story at greater depth and length, which I plan to, discussing how I came across some of my ideas, is because nature has been a healing thing for me in the meantime to deal with and focus on. And when I'm not actually in the city getting supplies, and when I'm living off the grid, away from society, I don't have to deal with the negativity that the young women of today's day and age are throwing at the coffee shop, at the grocery store. There's something about whatever they're tapped into that seems to be encouraging them to shun or act a certain way when they're dealing with a male who's not flirting with them, who may be lower income, outside the box of what's normal in their society, as this type of just, they feel it's their job or duty as a member of this culture to shun those that are living outside the box. And being that I'm outside a number of boxes, the ultimate of minorities, when you look at what I'm crossed with, if one could say, economically living off the grid, living in an RV, the actual ideas that I share on this channel and the content at alexansary.tv, I mean, that's not normal. There's nothing normal or orthodox about me at all in any way. And so those that are tapped into mass consciousness are acting like they're on autopilot. Somehow they live. I've got one that can see, and I've never seen a society off grid or in the grid where it's feminine, it's women have accepted me for me. There is constantly this punishment, even women from the Middle East. I'm not even Persian to them, or whatever. I'm the mixed whatever, the one that speaks English, the American. So I'm definitely like a strange one to all of them. And like I said, there are people that want to act like that's not how it is with their YouTube comments. YouTube comments are not a representation of what real life is like, of what real women are like. YouTube comments are not a representation. And I think some of you have gotten way too in bed with technology that you've forgotten that this Facebook back and forth, this YouTube back and forth, they'll comment like ++1, +1, you're gonna +1 on Google Plus. Oh my God, the heart. Now I get a heart on Facebook. I get a heart. Also an angry face, the reactions. It's not just like anymore. It's which personality of the smiley face, Skype style, do you want? And folks, the whole thing's become very awkward. Nature's healing. I use technology to get my message out that I share within nature. And thanks to technology and the mindful use of technology, I can go out in nature and share these perspectives with you. I don't have to be in Portland anymore. I don't have to be in a major city. I don't have to walk down streets where women are clearly afraid of my appearance, or afraid of my energy, or afraid of my consciousness, or afraid of my intelligence, or afraid of my beauty. I don't have to be punished anymore by walking amongst your kind. I am me, I am free, and the show will go on. This is a topic I'll come back to, but for now, I think I've really said what needed to be said. Alex Answer here, signing off from the forests of Southwest Colorado. The Spirit Gone His Own Way, May 27th, 2016.